Good day everyone and welcome to this update to V3 of the NPR shaders for Eevee. I'm just going to quickly run you through the new features for it. It's not major, but it will certainly make it a lot easier to use. Basically all I added was a sharpness equalizer, and I added a sharpness setting to the Anisotropic specularity for the Anisotropic shader, and the same equalization applies to every other area of sharpness as it applies to these shaders. Not the sizes, but the sharpness. So this sharpness would look like this. Let me just reduce the bump mapping so you can see it's nice and soft over there. I'm just going to reduce the intensity. Hold on. And now I'm going to up the sharpness like that. Reduce the intensity again. And it's just up it just a little bit. So we just have something there. We can also reduce the size. That always helps. And do remember that they do affect each other. All these values affect each other. So there you have a nice sharp looking anisotropic specularity model. Very nice. So I'm just going to turn it off again, like completely. No, not completely. Let's make it completely. So also the other thing I did was to add that equalization that I just told you guys about to the sharpness settings. So you can see here with the diffuse, it's very easy to control the harshness with which it sharpens. Very nice. And I'm not even holding shift. I'm really not. You can adjust it just on the slider. If you want, of course, something in between, which I can't imagine you doing, you can hold shift and adjust it even more finely. I mean, look at that, nice and soft. Just to show you guys that this works in the other shaders as well. This is the blend point lamp one. I'm just going to focus on the specularity. You can see that it's very easy to adjust now. It's no longer super sensitive. There is a difference between how the Phong specularity works and the blend Phong one does. So there is a sort of like a fade in, fade out area with the Phong sun and point lamps. So don't be surprised by that. That's just the way that the formula calculates it. So yeah, there you have it. That's all cool. And of course the same goes for the diffuse. Just to show you guys how this actually works, this sharpness control, you can see over here that I've added extra sections to the shaders. Basically all they do is they just level out that sensitivity. The way this came about was Sage and Puakai made some great suggestions on the previous release, version 2. Sage suggested some sort of mathematical way of achieving an if-then-else statement, and Puakai suggested a color ramp. And God help me combine the two suggestions into what you see in front of you, which is a fade over the values of 0 to 200 between the new one, which is a lot less sensitive, divided by 300, and the old one, which is pretty sensitive, stopping sharp at about 100 to 300 thereabouts. So the first divide node just gets us that value between 0 and 1 so that it's compatible with the color ramp and of course our factor in that order. And it also evens out the curve a little bit more by having the halfway a little bit closer to the ending, just to combat that initial sensitivity. So if you adjust it, you already saw the result. Anyway, something else that's really important, the NPR shader proposal. I put up this proposal to share with the developers our vision for an NPR shader. Since Blender Render is being removed, we're losing a lot of flexibility, especially as it relates to materials in 2.8. Now the shaders that I just shared with you guys and that you can download, etc., is proof that you can have NPR in the PBR environment. You just need to know how to control it, and you need to give that control to the end user, and that's pretty much what this proposal is about. It details the typical oppositions to it, what this would look like, answers the typical arguments against it, says what we need to have control over, etc., etc., etc. It's very thorough, with some examples and comparisons, and of course a mock-up and all those wonderful things. So definitely go check that out. Give it a thumbs up. Show the developers that we need it. There's the thumbs up right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this update. I hope this blesses you. I hope you can use it. Go share this. Let's show the developers that we actually want this. Have a great one, and God bless you.